So do you ever have a day when you feel like your life is just going on this big, wide path, and then all of a sudden you say, I can't do this anymore, I need to narrow my path and focus? Well, our guest today did just that, Dr. John Erskine. Do you still go by doctor?
I can.
Okay,
yes.
Well, we'll just call you John.
John's great.
But we're here at Paradise Point. He's the proprietor along with his wife Sabrina, and we're going to talk a little bit on Coffee Near Me about not postponing joy because life's too short.
True that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming on this beautiful summer day, and I'm glad you got to come out and visit us out here. This is my new world, and I love it. I love it every day out here.
Well, let's go from the wide path. People may not know your story. So
okay.
You spent over 3 decades, 35 years as a chiropractor, very successful. And you were following in your father's footsteps, Dr. John Erskine Sr.
James,
who
yes,
had done
okay.
that for 52
years. Yes.
And so one day, life changed.
Life changed. We, my wife and I, of 38 years, we've been together 40 years, blind date at Western, so I encourage people to go for that. We were doing everything right, raising our children, having a good time, had a great practice, very successful, very happy. And she took ill and had some serious medical issues, and it came to the point where she had to stop working, and I was kind of forced into becoming more than just the doctor. I was the business owner, I was the manager, I was the accountant, I was the staff person, and none of that fits me. This fits me. So when she left the practice, my life got suddenly very dim, and I had to take care of her, I had to take care of my 4 children, I had to take care of this place. I had this place at that time, and I decided that I couldn't do that anymore. And I was having stress issues, I was having minor health issues that most men ignore, right? Which I did. I didn't tell my wife, and of course that's why we get ourselves in trouble. And I decided that I was either going to change something or I wasn't going to make it very long. So we decided to sell everything. And we sold our house, and we sold my practice, and we sold everything we could, and we moved up here and decided to make a living selling hot dogs. And so for the last 14 years I've been doing that, but for the last 3 years that's been my one and only.
Okay, so you're hearing this story and it's a wow, because somebody's looking at you now and going, he's living his dream, he's successful, but they don't know all the hard work and grit that it took to get from point A to point B.
You know, one of my favorite quotes when people say something about how they'd like to be doing what that person's doing or what I'm doing or what you're doing is, I don't know if they want to did what we did to get to do what we do. I did a lot of things. I raised my family. I took care of business. I didn't drop the ball. My kids are happy and well adjusted. My wife and I are still together and in love. And it was time to change something. And the best thing I could come up with was to change my life. And so I went from short hair and ties to long hair and tie-dye. And now I spend every day happy.
What's that like?
It's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I encourage everybody to try to figure that out. I found that saying, don't postpone joy. I was in New York City. I was young, I was at a conference, and I saw a homeless man, and he had a shopping cart, and on the front of it, he had a piece of wood, and he had wrote with a pencil, don't postpone joy. And everything he owned was in that shopping cart, and he's going down the road in Manhattan. And when I saw it, I wrote it down because I had to process it. But as I look at that for the last 25 years, and I write it on things, it's on our t-shirts, it's on my paintings, it's a mantra, it's one of my life things, don't postpone joy. And I look at it as we're the ones who choose to postpone our joy by putting things in between us and joy. And we had to eliminate all that stuff, because joy's right there, but there was too much stuff in front of it. So we had houses and cars, and I like to say I played the game when if you had a pulse, you could get a loan. So in the 80s, if you could go in and act like you had some sense, they're going to give you money. So I took it. And I did what a lot of people did. I took so much that I got upside down, and it was stressful. And all these life experiences that I was living brought me to the point where I am here today. Good, bad, either one, those, when you look backwards, you can see the connection of the things that were going on to get me here today.
And we're glad you're here today.
I'm glad to be here.
John Erskine, the proprietor of Paradise Point, where we're sitting right now in Scottsville, Kentucky. It's Coffee Near Me. We want to hear from you. Follow up with us in the comments section. And if you've never been to Paradise Point, by all means, stop by. For Coffee Near Me, I'm Barbara Deeb.